When we talk about fixing the national budget, we must move beyond emotion and into design, because the budget is not just about money. It is the operating system of the state. It determines what gets prioritized, what gets protected, what gets delayed, and what gets rewarded. But here is the important balance we must hold. The budget is built around real needs. Healthcare pressure is real. Education backlogs are real. Municipal service failures are real. Unemployment is real. Infrastructure maintenance is real. So this conversation is not about reducing support to citizens. It is about strengthening the system that delivers that support. Because allocating money and delivering results are not the same thing. And the gap between allocation and outcome is where the real problem lives. National solutions is not about cutting budgets. It is about correcting incentives. Right now, the system often rewards survival instead of performance. Departments that underperform are rarely structurally redesigned. Projects that run over budget rarely trigger automatic consequence mechanisms. Municipal failures often result in national bailouts instead of systemic reform. That is an incentive problem, and incentives shape behavior. If we want to fix the national budget sustainably, we must redesign how the system behaves. First, funding must follow measurable delivery, not announcements, not plans. Delivery. If a department receives billions to address a service need, there must be milestone-based releases tied to real, verifiable progress. Not to create fear, but to create alignment. Needs justify allocation. Performance justifies continuation. That one structural rule would immediately shift behavior across departments. Second, transparency must become operational, not ceremonial. It is not enough to release annual reports. High-impact projects should have real-time visibility. Budget allocated, budget spent, completion percentage, responsible officials, delay explanations. When visibility becomes normal, discipline increases without confrontation. Sunlight improves systems. Third, we must differentiate between essential protection and structural reform. Healthcare must be protected. Education must be protected. Public safety must be protected. Social support for vulnerable families must be protected. But protecting citizens does not mean protecting inefficiency inside institutions. National solutions means protecting frontline service, while tightening administrative architecture around it. Reduce duplication, streamline procurement, strengthen internal controls, invest in digital monitoring systems. When structure improves, service improves. Fourth, leadership placement must reflect departmental weight. Some departments directly affect daily life. Health, basic education, water and sanitation, public safety. These departments are not political symbols. They are stabilizing anchors. Leadership in these areas must prioritize competence and credibility, because leadership sets the tone for financial discipline. If a department handles billions that affect millions, its leadership must be capable of managing complexity and enforcing accountability. This is not about personalities. It is about stewardship. Strong stewardship reduces fiscal risk. Weak stewardship increases it. Fifth, municipalities must move from being fiscal pressure points to fiscal stabilizers. Most service delivery happens locally. When billing systems fail, national transfers increase. When infrastructure maintenance collapses, reconstruction costs multiply. When local financial management is weak, national intervention becomes routine. National solutions require strengthening municipal architecture, standardized digital billing systems, professionalized revenue collection, technical oversight units, infrastructure maintenance planning frameworks. If municipalities become stable, the national budget breathes. Sixth, economic expansion must be treated as a fiscal stabilization strategy. The budget cannot carry growing social obligations without growth. Small businesses must be paid within predictable timelines. Compliance pathways must be simplified. Public procurement must open fairly to capable enterprises. When businesses grow, employment grows. When employment grows, tax revenue expands. When revenue expands, borrowing pressure decreases. Growth is not separate from budget reform. It is its backbone. Seventh, reform must precede recurring support. There are institutions that repeatedly require financial intervention. Support may sometimes be necessary, but support without structural correction compounds risk. Milestone-based support, leadership accountability, operational restructuring, procurement discipline. Without these, fiscal injections become temporary relief. National solutions is about durability, not temporary balance. Now let us zoom out. The budget must balance 4 pillars simultaneously: meeting immediate social needs, protecting vulnerable citizens, stimulating economic growth, maintaining fiscal sustainability. You cannot remove any of these pillars. Remove compassion and instability rises. Remove discipline and debt rises. Remove growth and revenue stagnates. Remove accountability and trust collapses. So the solution is not ideological, it is structural alignment. When funding follows performance, behavior improves. When transparency becomes normal, waste reduces. When leadership is credible, delivery strengthens. When municipalities stabilize, national strain decreases. When growth expands, revenue strengthens. And when revenue strengthens, borrowing reduces. The budget stabilizes not through dramatic cuts, but through consistent system correction. The true question is not whether South Africa has enough money. The true question is whether the system converts resources into durable outcomes. Because systems produce results. And if results are weak, the system must be redesigned. National solutions is not about reacting to headlines. It is about correcting architecture. It is about redesigning incentives. It is about protecting citizens while strengthening discipline. Because protecting citizens without discipline creates unsustainable pressure. And enforcing discipline without compassion creates instability. Mature governance balances both. If we align leadership, performance, transparency, municipal strength, and economic growth within one coherent structure, the budget will stabilize over time. Confidence will increase. Investment will increase. Revenue will increase. Debt pressure will ease. And service delivery will improve. That is not optimism. That is structural logic. Strong systems produce strong nations, and disciplined design produces durable prosperity. If you believe the national conversation must shift from noise to architecture, then engage below. Share your perspective. Share this episode with serious thinkers and policymakers. And subscribe to National Solutions. Because this platform is not about blame. It is about building. And durable nations are built by design.